Tell me again. Is this the one that's actually going to make us mad now?
Envelope number 2.
Oh,
No,
it's
I
just
think
this
that
thank you.
was the
It's
one.
just business.
When operating a business, you connect with more than just the guests that come through your door. You connect with your team, your vendors, delivery drivers, specifically in our industry, coffee producers. It's a lot of different relationships to maintain. Questions. Is there a secret sauce for maintaining a business-to-business relationship?
B2B.
B2B, or is it just that? Business. How do you determine what relationships to foster? What is the importance of relationships in business?
Is there a secret sauce to maintaining a business? Yeah, it's simple. A little relish, a little mayonnaise, a little ketchup,
Is it like an aioli? Is there garlic in there?
touch of vinegar.
Oh, for the
Mix it all together, and guess what? You got yourself an In-N-Out sauce right there. And that sauce has been known to drive business. B2B.
You ever seen the line in the drive-thru?
Oh, it goes
It goes
hard.
all the way from B to B, baby.
Yeah, some people don't like it, but they're not correct.
I don't know. I like In-N-Out.
Yeah, I like it. It's
My
fine.
beef, I hate this shit, okay?
Is it their fries?
No. My beef's not with In-N-Out at all.
Oh, good.
You know you have some things that are cultural institutions.
Yeah.
In-N-Out is a cultural institution.
Yeah.
And when they got going, I don't know if this is still true, but they're only operating in California.
Yeah, I
Is
don't
that
know if we've
still a
moved
thing?
on. You know what? I think I might have read something that they just moved out of California a little.
Cool.
Like maybe in Nevada.
So people would
or
come,
Oregon, I don't know.
From the East Coast or the Northwest or whatever. They come to California, and then they try In-N-Out. And instead of just appreciating it for what it is, they just pick it apart. And they don't have any fun with it. Their attitude's so negative about In-N-Out. They're like, well, it's just a burger. Well, it's just a
It's not a Whataburger.
Well,
Is that what
it's
it's called? A
just
Whataburger?
I don't know what that is.
It's a good burger.
Good Burger.
Good burger.
Welcome to Good Burger. Home of the Good Burger.
Let me have your
You
order.
can pick a
May I take
winner.
your order? Yeah, I mean that's like if we went to the burger place, Shake Shack, and it was like it's not as good as they say, and it's like, bro, who's they?
I love going
Shake
In-N-Out.
Shack's so good, In-N-Out so good.
I like
Just-
watching people chop the potatoes. Do you ever look at how they're
Oh,
working
man.
behind the counter? They're moving efficiently. They're
Everything's
moving
made
quickly.
there.
Everything hums pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty dialed,
Yeah.
And the burger's
it's fine.
good. You can't really say it's bad.
No, it's good.
It's a good burger. Is it the best burger you've ever had? No, I can't say
I hope
that.
not.
But you can't really go, no, it's not the best burger. It's like, it's In-N-Out, dude. Come on. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Back
And-
to our previous podcast. Just load your attitude up proper, bro.
Yeah, dude. Is there a secret sauce for maintaining a business-to-business relationship, or is it just that business? It's a hard question.
Let's just pivot this whole question. Fuck this question, dude. Fuck this question.
Yeah, dude. How do you-
Relationships are hard. I mean, they
Let's just make it
require
relationships.
relationships require all the things that everybody knows that relationships require. Open and honest communication. You're working together to hopefully achieve the same goal. You want to assume the best of the people around you. Try not to make these negative assumptions. What are we even talking about right now?
I mean, I just zoom it out for a second. It's not that it's just business, so we can talk about relationships. It's like, here's the thing. Like, every business still needs to do the same thing, which is make money, pay people, stay in business, and hopefully have a reason beyond make money. So, I mean, you kind of have to start with that being on the table. Like, pay attention, maybe a little empathetic. Like, what is that business trying to do? And maybe learn a little bit. I guess it's an opportunity for relationship building. Learn a little bit, be a little curious, Yes, we at Cat and Cloud operate in a certain way, and we're going to do things like this. A plus B equals C. We got values. We got a whole thing that we're going to try to hold ourselves accountable to. Imperfectly, albeit, but we will consistently try to go back to these places to make a decision. Now, you can't assume that everybody else is going to try to be like us, so you got to start there, have a little empathy, and you have to, I think, just do a little bit of your work. Like, what are other businesses trying to do? And the relationship is going to be different with all relationships, like with all businesses, I'd say. Like, okay, cool. We have a business that is Mission Linen. Maybe it's not even Mission Linen anymore because I'm not in charge of that, but they deliver us towels and aprons and sometimes floor mats. They do all that stuff. Now, we should have a nice relationship with whoever we talk to and be nice to them because that's who we are. But like, do we really need to get into having a deep relationship with that company? And do they need to get into having a deep relationship with us? The answer is not really yes. The answer is this is kind of straightforward here. Like we need a certain thing from them, they need a certain thing from us, and that's a subscribed service. It's a business relationship.
Right. It's a purely service-based interaction that we have. As long as they deliver aprons on time and we're paying on time, we are good to go.
Right. Do you need to have a relationship bigger than that there? The answer is probably no, right? You don't have a strategy. We don't have a strategy in our company per se that dictates us needing to have a deep connected relationship with them, no matter how big we get, aside from like literally if they have a supplies and a supply chain issue, right? So that one, pretty safe to say, is most likely going to be business to business. It's just business, right? But if you have a working strategic relationship, maybe you might have to think a little differently. If you have if you're interwoven in some capacity, and this is where relationships, like you said, are hard. Some relationships do kind of have a push-pull. We use some of their stuff. They use some of our stuff. We're working in tandem to still do the same thing, grow, build, sustain a business where neither of us really work together on the day-to-day at all, but we use each other's services. That's different. You do have to, there's a push-pull there at all times. You're going to have a different kind of relationship there. You're going to have multiple levels of individuals to talk to in some capacity and work with, less so than the ones in your own business, but it's the same idea. Like you're going to be working with somebody, then you're in quote unquote a partnership of sorts.
Yeah, it's a really big question. It's kind of broad. So I think I don't really know where to go to it. I would say this.
I mean, we can end up pivoting, but we can still answer this one in like 5 minutes.
For most I hate saying B2B. It's like the dumbest.
Somebody made it up, and now we say it.
For most relationships, the best thing that you can do to maintain the relationship and build a strong relationship is deliver on your promise. And that applies at every level. And there's different promises at every level.
Sure.
So like you said with Mission Linen, their promise to us is we're going to deliver the towels and aprons you need on time, and we're going to deliver exactly what you ordered.
Sure.
Cool. And our promise to them is
we will pay you.
We're going to pay you on time. And part of our promise, just as a business in general, is we're going to be hospitable to your delivery drivers and everybody when they come through the door.
Or something.
We'll get you a cup of coffee when you come in.
Be sweet.
No big deal. And that's where the promise begins and ends. There's no extra relationship. Like you said, we don't have to do anything else. As long as everyone's dialed in on their promises, we're good.
Simpatico.
And then that scales at every level. When we have a partnership with another coffee shop who sells our coffee, we say, hey, we do this, 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 and that. And as long as we do this, 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 and that, and they do what they say they're going to do for us, we're good. Now it's a little more intricate because some of the promises involve service and resources.
Right.
So those are more, those require more intention or a little more labor intensive. So maybe to fulfill one of those promises, it's like, hey, I need to jump on the phone with you for 30 minutes. We're going to figure out this thing. I'm having some growing pains with my managers, and we just need a second set of ears. So, but again, we're not doing anything outside of what we said we're going to do. We're excited about helping these people work with their business. So we're delivering on our promise. Like, yeah, Mark's going to jump on the phone with you. We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to have a Zoom meeting with all, however many pockets of partners, and we're going to attack these problems together. Like, yeah, that's how we're doing it. We're moving forward in service and hospitality at every step of the way.
Yeah, I mean, relationships are built on expectation.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, we are waiting. We're not waiting. We are going to do our best, and maybe this is an opportunity for us and your business to make sure that you have clear expectations from any vendor that you might be more partnered up with, where there's a push-pull. Maybe it's establishing what those things are early on. I mean, companies that are larger than us and have more resources to dedicate to this thing, that's why there's contracts. Contracts aren't, in my opinion, good or bad. In fact, they're probably kind of good. They're not, in my opinion, to lock anybody into money making per se. Contracts usually are just agreements on here's what we're going to offer you, here's what you're going to offer us. And we've both signed upon this thing. So now we've both agreed to this is what our relationship works like.
Right.
And that to me is actually pretty awesome. It's the same idea that we would use in terms of mission and values. Like, we agree to do this. And so if you're not doing that, we're in default in some capacity and we need to fix it.
Right. It's
what
kind
we
of
probably haven't done, and a lot of companies haven't, is that exact thing, whether it's a contract or not, is putting it all on the table to begin with, and then you've always got gray.
Yeah, it's part of your onboarding paperwork.
Yeah, it'd be great to do that.
Kind of.
Maybe we should start doing that.
This is
everybody.
a job description. Here's our, like you said, our mission and values. This is what we're doing together.
Right.
Everybody on the same page. It's probably easier to attack this one from the other angle.
Like the bigger business.
Well, how can you
B2B?
It's probably easier to talk about how you can destroy a business relationship than all the little things to make it go right. And I think it all hinges around what you said. It's all about expectations and following up on your promise.
That's it.
If you don't have aligned expectations, I mean, how quickly do your friendships disintegrate when you don't have aligned expectations?
Right.
How quickly do your romantic relationships disintegrate when you don't have aligned expectations? Maybe you're riding a little bit of a high for a while, but if that's not happening,
You're right.
it's all going to come crashing down at some point. And this is the same thing, What are we doing together?
I mean, when I was
What's
younger,
the higher level goal here?
right? Like when we were younger, early on in this business, I mean, not even that much younger. I'm talking like it's a long time ago. Like 6 years ago, when I went to the Disney Institute, they took us, whatever, in their fulfillment place, and they're talking about how they work with businesses that have aligned values and expectations with them. And I didn't quite understand at the time what that meant, but they did use this idea of they partnered with Starbucks for however long, right? You get a certain amount of years with Starbucks. And they were the first to bring an external company, Starbucks, into the parks. And so they have they're different names, but it's all Starbucks Disney employees operating, and one on each side, sell a ton of coffee. But I remember them saying that one of the things that was a non-negotiable was the exact style of ice that Starbucks was going to use. And they had like a back and forth on that before agreeing. And I just, for whatever reason, remembered that. Probably not terribly important to the overarching scenario, but it was one of those things where it was like, hey, this seems to be a great fit for us. Here's one thing that we're going to want to do. And it's different than I think it required Disney to buy some of the equipment, right? To put it in. Because they're Disney operated places using Starbucks. There's like whole collaboration and training. So it was somehow like they felt like they were very much aligned on how they were going to train people, how they're going to treat people, et cetera, et cetera. But that was one thing they had to talk about was like, we're going to buy these different kind of ice machines. And is that going to work for you? And that might sound really moot, but at the same time, when you're a place that both sides, which is extremely curated, this is exactly how things need to be. Starbucks and Disney both having experiences that people have an expectation of and a clarity of. That's something that would be an interesting thing to talk about. Like if we were going to have something like a collaboration with another company, I don't know what it might look like for us, but there might be something like that where it's like, we expect this. And they're like, well, we don't do that. And it's like, then it's on us or them to say yes or no to a partnership.
Yeah, I think the lesson there is having the conversation up front
Right.
and not just trying to make the deal when it's a bad deal.
Yeah.
Someone could have said, yeah, Starbucks, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
come
good.
on in,
The ice
come
is
on in,
great.
you're good.
Yeah.
No, we love what you do. Whatever you want to do, whatever
Right.
you want to do. And then 2 months later, yeah, about the ice.
Don't have a budget for
It's
that.
not going to work. What do you mean it's not going to work? You said we're all good.
Yeah.
You said we were dialed. You love what we do. Then it's a fucking problem.
Right.
Then you have to clean it up on the back end. That's good. That's no good. Everyone's mad at each other.
Yeah.
Everyone's grumpy.
There's relational tension.
Yeah. And then going forward too, you always have to think, what else are they not telling me?
Right.
What's the next thing that's going to come up that we didn't iron out ahead of time?
Yeah.
It's going to be a big old pain in the ass.
Right.
And it opens the door for them to do the same thing to you.
Right.
If you have someone who's a little bit malicious, oh, okay, you want new ice? Sure, we could do that.
Right.
You know what we want now?
Yeah,
we want this. It's like, no. Do the negotiations, do the deal before you get into it. Everything's out on the table, clear communication all the way around. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And it might be in everybody's best interest if you have all that out there to just not do the deal. And that's great too.
Right.
Because you don't want to get into a deal that you actually don't want to do.
Yeah. And that's almost a whole podcast. That's a mini episode. I don't really know what else to say about
What are we
that.
going to call these mini episodes?
Mini episodes. We could call them whatever we want.
It's
We
a
could call
coffee
them-
snack. It's an
call 'em
espresso snack.
Little Chucks.
It's a cat snack. Little Chuck. Yo, we got a Little
got-
Chuck barn burner for you.
Yeah, we got a little
10 minutes, fast and furious.
shot him a little Chuck Wagon
Little
episode.
Chuck.
Jump on the Chuck Wagon.
Get on the Chuck wagon.
I don't know. We're influencers now, so it could be anything. I don't know. Hi guys, I'm jumping on the influencer train. How much time was that? Like 15 minutes?
No, it was like 10 minutes.
Oh man.
Can't wait.
You guys should give us a bigger, deeper card. Yeah, I mean, you know what?
Influencer marketing.
Sometimes you just got to show up, and that's all you can do. Okay, showing up is half the battle.
What else
And
is cool in life?
what else is cool in life? There's a lot of cool stuff in life,
yeah.
man, but it's all in process. I don't know. You just get into it, and then you're like, what's cool in life? I don't know. It's just I'm gonna go in September to Australia and New Zealand. So if you're listening to this and you're from there, either one of those places, it's not gonna be a long time in Australia or New Zealand, but it is gonna be like 3 days in Sydney or 4, and same thing, 3 or 4 days in Melbourne, and then 8 in North Island, around whatever, somewhere, Auckland and places. So I haven't been to New Zealand, but anyway, all the coffee people over there, I'd love to say hi if you wanted to, but that's a long time from now. Even so, I'm just saying that because I'm like, I don't really have a lot of plans. The season of the year has been like, because of the work we're doing in this company right now, I've struggled to feel like I can get away without things taking a dip. Not a dip, that's the wrong word, but like it feels like the work and the momentum, I don't know where the level is where I feel like taking that much time away feels good. That's why I put it so far into the year.
What would you be worried about?
Worried is
Kinda
maybe
falling
the wrong
apart.
falling apart's the wrong word, but I feel like there's so many different pieces that require myself and Charles's brain right now, even though the team is stepping up really hard, that it makes it feel like setting it back in the short term makes the path a lot longer in the long term. So it's almost like I'm feeling like it's like worth the sprint, but then you get really tired and your brain gets a little bit like stuck in a box sometimes.
You got anything else planned before that?
Not like big stuff, no. I mean, we'll go to Honduras, which is cool, but that's still work related.
That's work.
I know. So
It's not even work related.
It's very much work.
It's work.
It's
yeah.
work. People are like, yeah, you're going to Honduras though. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still work. It's Ben Hameen is like one of my best friends for sure, but no, I don't know, man. The GF Casey has something small planned for my birthday, like in a week or two, but nothing large. So I can definitely still plan something, but it's just one of those things where you're thinking about it. It also is a challenge because of the way my life is structured, where it's like single dad life for.
You don't have a big block of time.
Yeah, it's like
really.
I have to get my in-person work done like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And then the rest of it I can still do, but it's phone required. And I do a lot better in person than I do on the phone and through the internet. It's not even like that short of a time because it's long days still and mental awareness, but fitting everything into the days that I don't have children with me is
Well, you're
unique.
working through a lot of different schedules. I've noticed that's what's the challenging
It's
part.
so hard
is
for me,
because you're trying to line up schedules with your team and then your schedule, and then when you have to compress those into a 2 or 3 day window, it's
Feels
a little
wild.
It's a little tricky. And then I noticed for me, I want to figure out a different schedule too, because my schedule's pretty similar, but I notice I'll have multiple big conversational days back to back to back, and I'm just roasted after those days.
Yeah.
Even when the conversation's good, it doesn't really matter. I'm just, whew.
Yeah.
I need a little bit of a
little buffer time.
Yeah. I was thinking of a few things. I don't know.
I mean, I'm super interested to brainstorm how to still get the work done and have the space. I mean, that's part of it too. The other parts that like I'm realizing have not given me the energy that I usually get, right? Things like SCA, I didn't get to go this year, which we haven't gone, but I think compounding years of not going to events, there's juice that I get from connecting with people in our industry. And it does give me, popping down to LA, and when I see a couple of coffee people and have a little bit of conversation, like it really juices me up. But it juices me up in the context of just that like internal reminder of like we're a part of something bigger, and other people are into this too. I know that's played a part in all of this as well, but you're right. Like and we have in the past also, and we're doing good work, but had more external like team building things, and those give me a lot of juice too. And we haven't been able to do that. We've been a little tight on resources building this place out. Just part of, like I said, we're not a huge business. We're putting it together.
It'd be fun every time I go to something like that.
Yeah.
I come back reeling for a few days, and then my mind wanders for 1 week in this zone that's maybe we should put on an event. And I know we've talked about doing events many, many times.
Yeah.
Anywhere
Bring
from
people to
something
Santa Cruz.
coffee focused to culture and leadership, almost seminar style focused, which would be really cool.
Development weekend.
Workshops, yeah, big development weekend.
That stuff
And
would really get me going.
I get cranking on that for a week, and then it feels like I can't. But
we need a little bit of a team for that, is what it is.
we need a pretty solid team. But I've actually been really inspired by the guys that I share the garage with. So, podcast shout out: if you're into cars at all and you don't know about it, you should listen to the podcast Driving While Awesome. They are self-proclaimed experts in automotive opinion. Fun podcast, and the guys who do the podcast started an event series called Radwood. And Radwood is basically a series of events. They do them in different cities across the U.S. You know, they'll have maybe 7, 8, I don't know how many they have in a year. And it's basically a celebration of 80s and 90s style cars. And their team is 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
You know, that that's their core team. And they started doing these events grassroots. They put them on themselves. And then just recently they got folded into the Hagerty network, which if you're into cars, you know what Hagerty is. But anyway, it's kind of this cool testament to what you can do with a little that can resonate in a really big way culturally.
Right.
And it's kind of spread like wildfire, and it's become this really, really big thing. So big that there's this, I was watching this podcast with this dude, John Hennessy, who is, he builds these really crazy, insane muscle car things, but he's always got some controversy around him, and I don't really know much about him. And he popped up on Rogan, and I was like, I'm going to listen to see what this guy has to say. And they were talking about old cars, and he goes, oh, yeah, one of those, that's cool. You know, it's very Radwood-ish, you know. And it's just this phrase that they claimed. Yeah, it's in the lexicon of the people. And that's cool. And they're in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And
props to them.
It's been inspiring because I'm like, man, if they could do it, we could do it.
Right.
The advantage that they have in it,
being little actually is an advantage in that capacity.
That's
they
what
don't have other jobs.
Exactly.
I
That's
know.
exactly
I'm
what I was
going to
say is,
and not because
we
proud
have
of us.
70 plus employees. There's, you know, multiple locations, roastery. There's all these other channels that we're managing to where they have some sort of focus. But that's also a goal. It's not unreasonable to think that this might sound a little transactional, but it's actually true. You know, why do you have employees? Well, you have employees to do the work that needs to get done. You know,
Sure.
Hopefully there's a learning process along the way. It benefits the culture as a whole, but it's not unreasonable to think that we could get to a place by the end of the year to where we could dive into these other projects that would undoubtedly be beneficial to the business and start up working on something like that.
It'd be
So
great.
it's cool. All these things.
Send leaders through it.
We've built this
inherently.
foundation. You're good here. You're going to check in. And then, you know, they can help us work on that too. It's like
Really fun too.
Super fun.
potentially. Yeah.
yeah.
There's definitely people in this company who'd be interested in helping in that.
Well, and it's just, yeah, I think it'd be really amazing.
I mean, we've talked about it since the inception of the company anyway, so we might as well keep pushing towards it. It's in our souls in some capacity.
Yeah, I just felt like it was worth bringing up again, seeing all that
Good
other
job.
stuff.
You planted a seed. Now it's public.
Now it's public.
Now
Let
it's
us
a
know
public
if you're
seed.
interested. Because think about this. It could be obscenely small. You know, it
Yeah.
could be a group
10
of,
people,
of
5
15.
people.
Yeah, 15 people, 10, 15 people
Right.
for 2 or 3 days with a reasonable entry fee, and we figure out some sort of accommodation. I don't know how we sell it. You know, I don't know how we put it together
You
as a
just
package.
started to.
And then it could be tiny. Everybody learns something. Everybody connects. You go home with that feeling that you're talking about,
Mhm.
plus some extra knowledge that's
And you got
really,
some,
really
maybe
usable.
some friends and some new people to connect with.
I think that's a big part of it.
The Diamond Dogs from Ted Lasso. Never mind, you can't do it.
What?
But the Diamond Dogs, dude, they support each other.
Dude, I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
We were on that Zoom call with a select group of our wholesale partners, and one of the things that they were talking about was, you know, I asked, like, what? We talked about this, that. What else could we do for you that would, you know, really dramatically improve your experience? And someone was like, you know, I would love it if we could have some sort of forum or connection point where our managers could talk to your team leaders. Like,
Yeah.
and he mentioned Herman by name.
Yeah.
If I could get Herman on the phone for 10 minutes with my people, and everyone's like, yeah, because you have these smaller shops and you got 8 to 12 people and you have a manager and then you have an owner.
Yeah.
So once you get promoted from a frontliner to a manager, all of a sudden you're new in leadership
Yep.
and you don't have any peers. The people who were your peers
You're
are now in
of
your
now,
charge.
technically, Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to talk to someone, you don't have someone who is in your shoes to talk to. We have 4 or 5 of those people
Right.
in our company who have a lot of experience. So being able to get 10 people on a call or a group of people who you can just talk to, who understand what you're going through, and you can debrief with them in a way that you can't with your boss or you can't with the person who works for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. So if you have a network of people who are all charged up about the same thing, you know, maybe in our case, maybe they all have different job titles and positions, but they're all passionate about leadership, hospitality, and growth. Sick. I have a network now.
Yeah.
A network that's better than just, oh, I know some really cool influencer people, but a network of people who are on the same journey as I am.
Yeah.
And that's invaluable.
It's invaluable.
So anyway,
Yeah. Maybe
we should do that
We should do that
at some point.
because anything. Yeah. That's great. We should go by the roast. They're cupping Hondo real quick. I don't know what's happening, but let's go.
Oh, yeah, we got a meeting. Chucky.
Hey everyone, that's the podcast for the week. Thanks so much for listening. If you heard something that inspired you, let us know, or tell a friend. These are the types of connections that are the most important to us and that we seek to create every day. If there's something you heard and you want to know more about, send us an email to podcast@catandcloud.com or head to our website, catandcloud.com/podcast, and let us know. While you're on our site, check out everything we have to offer. Dive deep into one of our single origin coffees or pick up a little treat for yourself. We have something for everyone, so check it out. Also, find us in the usual places, YouTube, Instagram. We're always there sharing amazing things. All right, that's it. Thanks everyone for being awesome. We'll be back next week.